Good morning. Good morning, Linda. Hello, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
That's great.
Get my lower third up there.
All right.
There it is.
So welcome everyone to this session number 2 of the Edcamp Home 2.0. This one is about virtual field trips. I'm the moderator. My name's Christine Hartooni. I'm in California right now. It's nice and toasty today. I hope everyone else is warm on the East Coast or elsewhere. So we do have a few others to arrive and then we'll get started.
Cool. Christine, what school are you at? Where are you at again?
Palm Desert Charter Middle School.
Okay, cool. So you're going to be right out there for Q then, huh?
Oh yeah.
This is just amazing what's happening here today. I watched those four, and they're just so cool. I can't even imagine what's in front of them, how they're orchestrating this whole thing.
Right, it's working out amazingly.
I know.
But we do have to exercise patience. A little bit of patience. All right, in the interest of time, let's go ahead and get started with some brief introductions. For the latecomers to the session, I'll just reiterate, my name is Christine Hartooni. I'm the moderator for the session. It's called Virtual Field Trips. And I want to thank everyone for being here today and remind us that we are here to discuss and talk, and everyone here should feel free to participate and just jump in whenever they have something to say. And also feel free to use the chat box to list some questions or links to resources. Let's see, Katina, can you start by introducing yourself, please? Katina? Okay, Katina, are you here? You may have your microphone muted, Katina.
It's funny, Google Hangouts has been doing that when you hop into a Hangout today. It just goes right to the mute. It's weird.
Okay, let's go to Karen Daniels. Can you talk to us?
Yes, I'm from Southern California. I'm in a very small school, and this year I only have 6 students, and we don't have huge budgets. So I would love to find out ways I can enrich my classroom through virtual field trips.
Great. And let's hear from Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Yolis, and I teach in the Los Angeles area, and I'm really excited. I love adventure, and I've been watching these virtual field trips being talked about, and I'm interested in joining in.
Great. And Scott?
I am Scott Bedley. I'm in Irvine, California, and I teach 5th grade. And I'm excited to be a part of today. It's pretty crazy.
All right, great. Susie?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm from Indianapolis. I'm trying to get my lower third to work, but it won't. I'm a media specialist, and we're getting ready for our next Snowmageddon right now.
Oh my. Okay, for your lower third, are you using the Hangout toolbox?
Yeah, I am, and it's I get my name and all that, and then save presets, and I put something in, and it keeps saying you haven't saved a preset. I have 4 of them now, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there.
Is it turned on, that little toggle switch at the top?
Yeah, I turned that to blue by lower third, yeah.
I found there's a little bit of problems with the presets sometimes if you delete them all and then just go with type it in and hit the on button. Sometimes that's just easier.
Okay, I'll try that.
All right, so let's talk about virtual field trips. First of all, who's doing them this school year? Yep, Scott? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing them a couple years ago just in the interest of, I was talking earlier in the earlier session about contextual learning, and kids have a hard time carrying learning from one contextual location to another. And I used this earlier, I said that, you know, it's like them seeing you at Target and being shocked that their teacher is at Target. It's like, hey, you know, we're people and we need food, and Target's awesome. So, and so it was like, how do I, you know, break out these four walls and give them a different context, and do it with a very limited budget and not wanting to put pressure on families to provide for things like that, and just, you know, give the kids the opportunity. And so I just reached out to as many people as I could. I asked parents, I asked fellow teachers, I asked friends, relatives, whoever I could, to try to connected with people on Twitter. But this last year we connected with like a docent at one of the forts in Ohio that connected with our history of looking at the War of 1812. And when the kids were doing this, like, you know, virtual Skype field trip, and the docents, all you saw in the background was mini blinds, and they open the mini blinds and this flood of light comes through. They're all dressed in their like War of 1812 gear, and the kids just think that they open this up and this flood of light comes through, and all of a sudden you can see the fort and the armory and like all the background, and there was like a literal gasp from the kids, because right then they knew, like, well, there's a world outside of our little four-wall classroom when we're learning. And so it just empowers them to learn outside of the classroom. That's what I always tell them, is like, you don't have to be limited to learning inside of a classroom anymore. Go home and learn anywhere you can. So that's just an example of one thing that we've done, is just try to connect with different museums and emailing locations and asking them, and they're pretty excited to do it because they want to connect with kids. So.
And did they walk around the fort? Did they take some sort of a device out, or how much do you get engaged in it? I've never done one.
Yeah, so that one they didn't. They just spoke from a room that was onside the site. But I've done other ones where they've actually walked around and toured. We also did one with somebody I met on Twitter who had traveled down to Guatemala, and so we were studying ancient Mesoamerican cultures, and so he was down there, and I said, let's Skype, and he showed us around and talked about how the Mayan culture was still impacting Guatemala and things like that. So it was cool for the kids, but he would turn his laptop, and we also did one with the University of Santa Clara, and had their the college kids who were building this house, like, take us and do tours of the houses and things like that they were building. And so you can do it, but the wireless thing is always kind of an issue, and sound quality.
That sounds like some really awesome opportunities. This year I got involved in the Google Plus community, the Connected Classrooms.
Yeah.
And I got to say that's really changed some things for me. I took my class, actually the whole 7th grade class, to a field trip to Chicago Botanical Garden, and they did this very nice presentation about the emerald ash borer, some invasive pest that's destroying the ash trees. But their whole setup was just great. They had experts out in the gardens, they had experts in the microscope room, they had arborists that actually chopped a tree down for us. It was a great experience, and we've been doing some other virtual field trips with them, and hoping to do a lot more this year. It's really opened up the classroom for me and let the kids see, you know, what scientists are actually doing in their labs, and we get to go into their labs. We talked with one of the Google Science Fair award winners for the student contest. So it was great for my 7th graders to see a young scientist and talk to her. It was great.
Are those connected classrooms taped, or
Yeah.
are they? And do you have any problem with being kids under 13 going into them? Can you still join? Because my kids are in 3rd grade.
Right, so they're all run through the Google Hangouts on Air, so they are taped. And basically, if you want to actually have your students participate and ask questions on camera, you would have to go through a process where you have to let the company know that you're involving children, and there are some permission slips that you need to send home. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the concerns.
Could I just show it and participate, and I could field the questions just to expedite it?
Right. Another way you can do is just broadcast the live stream to your students, and you can do question and answers, just like some of the Google Hangouts on Air are doing today with this Edcamp. You could Twitter in to one of the experts running the show. So definitely that's another way to go.
Linda, though, your kids are going to want to be on camera, I'm telling you. You get permission slips. I mean, I've done it both ways, and Christine can probably confirm that. Christine can probably confirm that, but it's like they want to be on camera and asking questions.
Right.
Yeah, we've done a lot of Google Hangouts and Skype, but I've just never. I saw if they're videotaping, it takes it to a different level, and it sounds like it's not that big of a deal to get the parent permission, I guess.
It hasn't been for me, but I also, you don't have to broadcast it and record it. I don't think if you use like Skype or a different tool that doesn't necessarily have a recording, although somebody could screen or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like these sessions that are broadcast live and then recorded for all eternity.
Right. It just depends on.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. Scott,
Yeah.
are you saying you're calling organizations and organizing this yourself, or are you finding a list of possible virtual field trips?
You know what? I'm always on the lookout. Like if I'm traveling and I meet someone and I ask them like what they're into or who they are, I'll just be like, hey, my class wants to hang out with you. I was at a music concert and got a chance to meet a musician. I'm like, hey, why don't you Skype into our classroom?
Okay.
So whoever I talk to, that's like my second question is, do you want to Skype with my kids? So.
All right, got it.
Or Google Hangout. We use both depending on the person who's coming in's expertise, and so we try to use it for that, both of them for that reason.
One question I have for everyone is, before the field trip, how do we prep our students for their experience, and then afterwards, how do we make sense of what we learned, and how do we continue the conversation? Anybody have some answers for that?
You could always blog about it,
Right.
Document it and put it out there and get a conversation going in the comment section.
Excellent. Yep.
We, you know what I found was when I announced, like, hey, we're going to be Skyping with this doctor down in Guatemala. He's going to share about Mayan culture. They were driven to the learning, which was great, And so I said, check out, National Geographic Online has a cool thing about Guatemala. Go check it out. So I might point them in the direction of some sources. And then to say, hey, you're going to be having the opportunity to ask questions, and when you ask questions as an interviewer, you want to be able to have some background knowledge and understanding, and so that also kind of drives them to the learning without having to assign it. So I'm not a big proponent of assigning a lot of homework. A lot of my homework is actually optional, which is a whole nother Edcamp session probably, but they get driven to it by curiosity, which is much more powerful learning anyways.
That's what I find too, that I haven't done any virtual field trips, but I find that when they're interested, they just go and research themselves, and you can guide them. It's true.
The last time I haven't been in the classroom for a while. I'm an elementary principal right now, trying to find ways to get my teachers to do this that doesn't require a heavy burden on them. I want the easiest path first so that they see the benefit. But one way that I got students hooked when I was in the classroom, it was just a live stream from McMurdo Station, the teacher on assignment there, and we could do them 3 or 4 times a year. And so after we did one of these, where we just did some live chat and some questions and watched them present to us and give us a tour, I said, well, we're going to be visiting McMurdo Station in another couple of months, and so what do you want to know between now and then that's going to help you ask good questions or help you understand what they talked about a little bit more? So it was like the bookends of the virtual field trip really kicked off some interest of the students in between. Nothing that I assigned, but throwing out the question to say, what's going to help you understand the next one better? So that worked.
Katina, let's have a virtual field trip with your teachers.
You know, that would be great. That might be a good first start.
And have them experience it and how cool it is. Like, this is so cool to do it right here. You know, once you see how fun it is, and then you're like, oh, I want to try that. It's not so scary.
Right. Have you all heard about the mystery Skyping? Signing up to mystery Skype with another class? Mm-hmm. You can find a lot of teachers for that, and that really involves the kids because you can get your own network. And kind of what it is the kids will give clues about where their class is located, and it really refines their questioning. And then you can get a lot of ideas from those teachers on other connections too.
Yeah, mystery Skype is a lot of fun.
Can we talk hardware for a minute? I'm wondering, you know, I use a really cheap IPVO video camera in my own office. The Chromebook seems to be working okay here, but microphones with students, is there anything to avoid or anything that's better than something else? No hardware. Okay.
I use a Logitech camera. It's working good for me. I haven't had a need to change it. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money, though. I've heard a $30 camera works great.
Oh, good. That's the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah. Target.
The kids, in my experience, always seem to talk softly all of a sudden when they're on camera.
Sure.
So having a mic, I think, is a positive if they're asking questions, but it's not necessary. Sometimes I'll just end up repeating the questions, but we wanted it to be a more seamless experience. Even if, I tell the kids, you gotta shout, use your playground voice or whatever. We want them to hear your question. They still seem to have, like, all of a sudden they're nervous. It's kind of cute and funny at the same time, but also it's good to have a mic then.
Yeah.
I got a mic through Donors Choose. I got one of those blue snowball ones, and we've used that quite a bit. And it really does help. Mm-hmm. And it looks professional.
One of the things I wanted to mention was before a virtual field trip, one of the things I tried was I used Google Earth program to record a flyover of our trip that we were going to do. So we started at our school, and very zoomed in on our multi-purpose room, and then we zoomed backwards out, and we flew to New Jersey, and then saw the Science Center that we were going to go to, and then we flew to the Chicago Botanical Garden and saw where we were going to be looking at the trees, and so that was nice to play before our field trip, just to see where we were going to be going, and I kind of played it up as far as, we're going to get on this airplane, but stow your luggage underneath your desk, and kind of made it more of an experience for the kids.
That's awesome.
made it something memorable, so they can look back and say, hey, you remember that time we went there? And I think they really enjoyed the experience overall. But we did learn that there's always technical snafus that happen, and you've got to anticipate those 5 to 10 minutes waiting for the Google Hangout to get started, and also have your plan B and plan C ready to go.
Yeah, sometimes nobody's there. I've had that happen.
That's awesome. I love that Google flyover. That's cool.
And I don't think sometimes people have a sense of where they are in the world, so the Google flyover is a perfect way to build in that geography element. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Right. Some of my students... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've done it where my kids didn't know we were going to do a virtual field trip, and all of a sudden the computer starts ringing from the Hangout, and boom, and they're like, what's going on? And so that element of mystery draws their attention to you, so that's kind of fun. Sorry to cut you off, Christine.
Right. I was just saying, some of my students, they really haven't traveled very far from the valley that we live in. So for them, I think it's an eye-opening experience for them, and I want them to meet other scientists. I want them to see what are the facilities that you might work in during college, or what does a research assistant do? Where are they working at, and who are they working with?
It's awesome.
Uh-oh, I muted. Is Mystery Skype organized in a location? Is there do you sign up and say, I'm available?
There's a Google community that's like mystery calls or mystery, whoops, I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. I'll look right now.
There's one through Skype too, because of course they want to promote the use of Skype. I'll drop the link in the chat.
Mystery Locations is the Google community that you can join. But I do it right now. My class is on a goal to Mystery Skype with all 50 states, because we study United States at 5th grade. I don't know if we'll make it, because that's a lot, but we're trying. So I'll tweet at people and beg people, and however I can try to get people to do it. The hardest part about Mystery Skype is, for me, is the timing on the West Coast connecting with the East Coast. So that takes a little bit of negotiations back and forth to figure out times that both classes can do it without like lunch and after school and 6 a.m.
Dealing with the passing period and
yeah. For sure.
I made up a little sign for my door that says, we're in a Google Hangout or we're in a Skype session or what have you. So I can post that on the door so people know coming in to play.
Do they pay attention to that?
Mostly, yeah.
They don't on my door. They just walk in.
Scott, what grade do you teach? I missed that.
I teach 5th grade right now.
Okay, 5th grade. Perfect.
I've taught everything from 3rd all the way through high school.
This is perfect for your 50 States challenge.
Yeah.
I think
Google Plus.
One of the things we can do with the virtual field trips is blog about our experiences. We could create a map of all the places we've been. I think, Scott, you said you were doing something like that? It could be a virtual map or a physical map with pins. Does anybody have any other suggestions on a follow-up after a field trip?
See, let the kids take it in different places. They might want to create something on the iPad or with paper and pencil that sort of commemorates the trip.
Yeah.
We try to generate future questions and then reflect on just how we did as far as the classes when we were presenting or asking questions, or what would have helped you to be able to understand what the field trip was about before. Like, how could you have done a better job preparing for it? Like, just a lot of reflection afterwards. And we actually have kids that are on the iPads recording the class session, so we can reflect afterwards, which is kind of cool. So just that tool to reflect I think is super powerful. So.
I think it depends on the nature of what you did too, on what kind of follow-up. If the kids feel motivated to do something or challenged because of it, you might want to revisit it more than if it was something that was more informational.
Is there anyone that hasn't tried a virtual field trip yet?
I haven't yet, but I've done similar things. So I just need to jump in.
I've done several with authors.
Oh.
But not really virtual field trips.
So was that like a Skype session or?
Some Google, some Skype, and there are a lot of authors because they know that helps lead to selling their books. So.
Right.
Sometimes people do that today's meet too as a back channel to generate questions if you've got two people speaking or are representing the class. that can be a nice way to generate questions and follow-up questions.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Miss Karen Daniels.
Yes.
Did you say that you hadn't really done the virtual field trip yet?
No.
And if so, what are some of the barriers for you to do that, or why are you reluctant? Or
I am finally set up that I could do it because I have a nice projector and everything, and just haven't started yet. So trying to get into it.
Okay.
So I'm copying these links so I can check them out.
Good luck.
Sometimes it helps too to have them. I haven't done any field trips like you're talking about, but I've done a lot of Skyping and Google Hangouts, and I find it helps depending on the age and the time that you're giving out. If they have jobs and responsibilities, when I let it be more freeform and they just sat and listened, I ended up with a lot of behavioral problems because they were kind of disengaged at times depending on the child. So it's nice to have jobs and roles for kids during the call.
Those are some great suggestions, which I'm going to use.
One of the links I gave, the one that I put before, nice outline for doing mystery, that's from Pernille Ripp, and she has a great blog, and she has a really nice list of jobs delineated for the kids.
Joanne
Languages does a lot too.
Yeah.
Joanne Fox is another one that has a lot of great links. She tweeted at me a way that you can track all your field trips using like a Google source to like pinpoint things on the map.
Okay. Is that Joanne Fox you said?
Yeah, Joanne Fox.
Great.
And languages too. Sylvia Tolosano.
Okay. So we did get started. All the sessions got started a little bit late today, but I don't think they're ready for the slam yet, from what it looks like on the page.
So why don't people say where they're planning on going or something they're thinking about doing with their virtual field trip? Where's the next destination?
I'd like to go to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. Fiji.
Not virtually either.
No.
I don't have any planned right now. I'm just looking at the event calendar for the Google field trips, see what they're having lined up. But besides that, I'm just kind of keeping my ears open and trying to connect with scientists that may be willing to work with my classroom.
And do you have to sign up pretty far ahead, or could it even be a day or two ahead for that event calendar?
Well, first you would have to join the community itself, and then once you do that, you have access to all the posts and everything. And when an event actually posts, I would say you should give yourself 1 or 2 days for those permission slips at least to go home and just to set everything up. But I would say two days.
Okay.
Some of the events posted on the Google page, they come up in 1 week's notice, so you kind of have to really just check it and move fast.
I joined the community. I just haven't done enough exploration in it yet, so now I will.
Scott, do you have any plans coming up?
A lot of mystery Skyping.
How many are you in? How many have you done so far?
I can't see my non-virtual map. We haven't done a lot. We have about 6 or 7 states done. The hardest part about mystery Skyping is connecting with states. There's a lot of people that want to do it in Iowa, and Michigan, and Texas. There's a lot of states where people we've connected with are really connected states, that feels like, tech-wise. And then there's other states that it's been hard to locate people. But if any of you want to fake like you're from states, then
well, I was going to ask them or something. If you need anybody from Indiana, I can arrange that at my school.
Your kids can research about that state and then pretend.
Yes, we're from Texas. That's funny.
Well,
I don't think I'm ever
definitely
not
gonna
looking for.
take the staff on a virtual field trip. That's a brilliant idea. So we'll have to come visit one of you. You can tour us around your school.
You got it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That's a good idea, especially teachers who are hesitant. You know, when I have back to school night, I Skype in a blogging buddy of mine from Australia. And the effect that it has on the parents in the room, that they see how easy it is to do and how open the classroom is. I think if you did something like that with teachers, if they could see it isn't that difficult to do it, it can be done easily. That might be a nice way to start off to get other teachers doing it.
Yep, I think so.
I definitely think if you can just experience things, it leads to less fear.
Yep.
Mostly, unless it's like in a cage with a lion or something like that.
And one of the things you can do is work with a buddy teacher and kind of show them how to get it going and teach and share.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And I think it's a good idea if you do it with another teacher first, and because we're understanding if something goes wrong. Because if you're doing it with an organization like some zoo or some museum and something goes wrong, that can be kind of panicky. So, get your feet wet doing with some understanding teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep. Well, I wanted to say thank you for participating in this EdcampHOME 2.0 session about virtual field trips. And I thank everyone for their great advice and resources. And I wish everyone luck in planning their field trips this year, and share with us what you find out or what you experience. And I hope you guys hope to see you in the slam coming up next. So
You were a good moderator.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is my first time ever. So yes, and it was nice to meet all of you, and I'll have to hook up my Twitter's accounts and add you guys, and it was nice meeting you again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
You're hungry.